Demonstration for the nation, Zulu men. Doing it! Hope in every household, in every hostel, in every taxi rank. I really hope that the message is coming through to the men of this nation. And Maskandi Kings are just being a beautiful demonstration. Beautiful. Ramashapala Matsoho. Go, my kings. Go for it. I mean, she throws in a high gabi or something before that. But this wild, wild accusation. He was shocked. I was shocked. The two women were not shocked. And when she leaves, he'll be with Mambata, widow number 1, and cousin's wife, widow number 2, and he'll be the widow keeper for real. Most importantly, like guys, this is like ihlazo for real. This is and we have to be calling each other out as women here, because how can you accuse your husband of something like this on TV? It's subtext. I would beat your ass. Okay, if we were not post 1994, because who do you think you are? I wanted to just take Kulegani if I could and just bring his head into my bosom like Iyanla and just hug him while he weeps and just comfort him. Beautiful man doing beautiful healing work. If there is a man in your life, in your family, that needs an example of what it actually looks like when people try to take back their power, take ownership for their lives, account for the things that they've done wrong and fix it, send them this show. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rakhadi's Views, where I am Rakhadi Watsona, hello, and I give you guys my views on reality. Welcome back, and we are doing Kings, what is it, Maskandi Kings today, episode 5. So I am late because this was last week's episode, but today I'm going to give a double whammy. So I'm going to record both episodes and try to upload them both onto YouTube today. So thank you for your patience and for bearing with me. And let's get into it, because Maskandi Kings, guys, I'm going to just give Zulu men are healing. Black men are healing. You know, let's not make this tribalistic, but black men are healing. We love to see it. Guys, God has been answering our prayers. Continue. All the prayer warriors out there, male, female, and everything in between. Arapeleng, guys, people have started to do their work. Men are doing their work. We are seeing that on television. Beautiful. I loved episode 5. I loved this episode. I think this season so far has actually just surpassed any of my expectations. It has really taken a different path than last season. I think last season was introducing people, and the focus was a lot more on the music. But there was a lot that was being done by the guys last season in terms of their healing. But this season too, guys, if you have not caught the wave of awakening and just looking within yourself and fixing yourself, taking accountability and responsibility like these men are demonstrating in this episode, please watch it. Let them be a demonstration for you. If there is a man in your life, in your family, that needs an example of what it actually looks like when people try to take back their power, take ownership for their lives, account for the things that they've done wrong and fix it, send them this show. Send them this. I just hope in every household, in every hostel, in every taxi rank, I really hope that the message is coming through to the men of this nation. And Maskandi Kings are just being a beautiful demonstration. Beautiful. Ramashapala Matsoho. Go, my kings. Go for it. You know, I generally hate this beautiful, what is it, Grand Rising Queen, all of that's just horrific. Just rhetoric that seems very empty sometimes in this day and age. But these men and what they are doing, this is king-like behavior. Anyway, let's get started so that you know exactly what I'm talking about. Welcome. Get comfortable. Put this on while you're doing your errands in the background, while you're in your car. Hello, drive safely. Wherever you are, heading out at the gym, welcome. and let's get into it. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Firstly, I also want to thank all the people who've been subscribing because I see that the numbers are going up. I don't check it super regularly, but when I do, I see that they are. The views are there, guys. It's always just so appreciated. Every single person, every individual who is clicking and watching this, please know Rachadi appreciates you, Rachadi loves you, and welcome to the family. Okay, Maskandi Kings, Season 2, Episode 5. So we start with Unelisani, who's one of the Abafana Bagangumeni. I'm sure by now, guys. I told you in the last review, I'm gonna stop calling him 11, the dark skinned one, because we now know his name, Nelisani. So he goes to his traditional healer again because I get in the last episode he was doing the lobola situation for his mother and fixing that. But he goes back to the traditional healer because he's telling him, "Oh, hey guys, izinto azihlangan," because I spoke to the woman in my life, so he had somebody in his life or had, and was explaining to her that he wants to lobola her, but he can't lobola her now because he has to do this lobola for his mother, and basically fix the mistakes that his father made in the past to clear the way for him to actually have then the support of all the ancestors and to do things properly when he eventually lobolas her. Hi, Nelisani, our baby girl wasn't trying to hear it, threw a fit, and left him. Which, in isolation, when you hear it, sounds like, okay, that's strange for somebody to leave just off of this information alone, and poor him. But I do want to say that I think this might have been on the back of a lot of previous baby, wait a minute, not now, hold on. I don't know how long they've been together. I don't know how long he'd been promising her to get married. But it does seem strange that, you're explaining something that makes sense. So for somebody to just leave you just because you said you need to lobola do your mother's lobola stuff first, and then we can do ours. But anyway, that's not the story. Essentially, baby girl left out of thanks but no thanks. But Booty, I'm still young, and maybe let me go try my luck somewhere else. So, the Mkulu that he's at, his name was Dr. Three something something. Anyway, doctor tells him that, listen, essentially, your Lozis are still in the midst of the fight, right? From your paternal side and your maternal side. Because even though they've had the negotiations, the lobola, the ceremonies haven't actually been done. And there hasn't been, the nyoko that's been poured. I don't think they've done any of that. So essentially, the fight is still on between your maternal and your paternal side, and it's good that we've started the process to fix it in terms of doing the lobola negotiations. But essentially, what needs to happen is that you actually have to go and be introduced to your mother's closes because you were born out of wedlock. It is what it is. So you have to have a ceremony done for you to introduce you to the maternal ancestor side, because they were the ones who were crying out the most that they are the ones who are gifting you, with everything that you've got, so that you could work, you could do all of these things, and you basically neglected them. So you have to do a ceremony with a goat and be introduced to your mother's ancestors. And essentially, the reason you'll never settle down with any woman is because whichever woman, she also is walking with her lozis, and her lozis are seeing the wahala that your lozis are going through and impi that's happening there. So Dr. Three's reasoning is that any woman's ancestors seeing, they're not going to agree that their daughter must go into Ismaya where there's already commotion going on. So that's why he hasn't really been able to lock down a woman who stayed and got married, because in season 1, Nelisani had said that he tried with a couple of other women where he thought it was promising, and every time they got to the point of ilobola and starting things, it would crumble, and he actually has never been able to marry anybody because of this. So cool. Nelisani is like, okay, this is making sense. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Then Dr. Three whips out this silver wand or stick. Wizards are real, guys. It's just well, I believe in it, but the translation from African language to English sometimes can be like, ooh. But this is what I tell you. Why would Why would English dictionary have words like wizards and witches if it was only things that black people did? Why do they have a word for it in English? Anyway, he whips out the silver wand that I think maybe a wizard would be holding and tells him that it comes from somewhere Israeli or something, and it's got some power and some energy. Points it at Nilisani. Listen, I'm not going to get into the particulars of what this man was doing and whether it was resonating with me as a viewer or not. All that matters is that Nelisani said for him he felt something nyagazing in his body when that guy pointed that wand towards him. And Nelisani left that place with a smile. So, good for him. We move along. Then Bahube, well, it wasn't really Bahube, but the mother of his children. She goes home to her family and she tells them that, listen, Bahube is going to send his mkongis and they're coming to finally do Lobola. Her uncles were there, and I think some brothers and cousins, and then some aunties, and I think her mother. Everybody was very happy to hear the news. One of her uncles was even like, it's about damn time. It's about damn time, because we'd been waiting for this day to come and like for him to basically make an honest woman out of you. You know, the uncle even says, Vele Vele, now I was gonna come and fetch you, hee hee ha ha, because you were gonna come and fetch her after how many years? Okay? This woman has grown kids. So when exactly were you going to go and fetch her? But, you know, I think it's just something that people say in jest. Anyway, everybody's happy and she leaves. Then we have the other brother from Abafana Baganumeni, light skinned soprano. Still don't know his name. If anybody knows his name, please tell me in the comment section so I can stop calling him light skinned soprano, chubby brother, but him. Not Nelisani. So his two wives, they're back in Makaya because he's back from Joburg. His two wives call him go gating to have a meeting with him, and he's like, okay, what's going on, what's this about? And they basically like, listen, we just wanted to discuss this issue, all of us together, so three, about you wanting to take your cousin's widow on as your third wife. So, brothers, he's like, well, he's a bit shocked that they're having this conversation. And he asks them, like, are they both on the same page with regard to this conversation? For me, it seemed a little bit like he was trying to intimidate them and ward them off of having this conversation before they even started. Um, which maybe, I mean, listen, I never grew up in Istanbul anyway, in my family or my friends. But I actually don't see what would be so wrong in all three of them having a discussion, because he told each of the wives individually, which is fine, but he seemed very gung ho about not having a family meeting. And for me, I don't see what's wrong with a family meeting if you've told everybody individually whatever message you want to relay. But clearly, this is not something that he was trying to do, was to have a meeting with all three of them. And I think because when he told them both individually in the previous episodes that I've done the reviews for, he told them individually that this was not a discussion. I'm telling you about the decision that I've made. So I think maybe why he was trying to intimidate them to not have this discussion is because in his eyes, I said what I said. And why are we still talking? But clearly the ladies are like, there's lots to talk about. So they brought him there. Then Umashazi, who is the wife who has a son with him. So she's the second wife, the one who is not a widow. He explains, Mashazi's like, listen, we hear you talking about this. And then he reiterates again that, yes, this is something that I've been thinking about for a very long time. So I don't know why we're standing around here talking about it. And Mashazi's like, well, if you tell us that you've been thinking about it for a very long time, taking your cousin's widow on as your wife, your cousin didn't pass away very long ago. So if you've been thinking about it for a very long time, that would mean that you've been thinking about it even while your cousin was alive. So does that mean, I mean, she throws in a hi Gabi or something before that, but this wild, wild accusation. But she's like, I got me, but did you then kill your cousin so that you could marry his wife? And I was like, girl, what? He was shocked. I was shocked. The two women were not shocked. Even like the other Umbambata didn't look shocked by what Mashazi was saying. And I was like, guys, this is crazy. Crazy. So Brahman in his diary, I mean, not even his diary, when he's there, he's like, what nonsense is this? Like, are you asking me what you're asking me right now? Like, is this what you're asking me? To my cousin so that I can marry his wife? And she's like, well, yeah, if you say you've been thinking about marrying her for a long time, when would you have even had a chance for love to grow for her? Because you would have always seen her, as your brother's wife. And guys, this is the first time for me, I hear on some of these TV shows, men accusing women of wanting to pitliza imuzi, and usually that's not the case. It's just when they're not getting their way or they can't participate with a cogent argument in a discussion, then they just accuse you of, wanting to pitliza imuzi. But this is the first time where I was also like, girl, you really are trying to destroy your household, because even if this is for TV and a producer came and said, let's stir up some mutswako ya drama, this is not worth it. This is not worth it. It's either that, or if you seriously and truly believe that this man is capable, his cousin brother, so that he can marry the wife, why would you be married to somebody who would even exhibit the characteristics of somebody who could do that? Most importantly, like, guys, this is like ihlazo for real. This is, and we have to be calling each other out as women here, because how can you accuse your husband of something like this on TV? How, guys? Even if you're angry that this person is really becoming like the widow keeper who's going to have a whole crypt at his homestead, keeping these widows, a whole of a person on TV, guys. I don't know. I had this discussion with a friend of mine, but she's also got Zulu blood. So I don't know. Maybe it's like just this fighting energy of like Impi. And she says that she completely understands why Mashazi would be making this sort of claim. I don't get it. And so maybe y'all let me know in the comment section. How do we get from you want a third wife that I'm not happy about to you, your cousin, so that you can marry this woman? Help me. Help me to connect the dots. Maybe there's something I'm not realizing. But for here, as far as I can see, with the information that I have on this camera, girl, you're out of line, you're out of pocket. Even if you believe, if even if you believed that, why would you make that accusation on television? Why? Why? Go TV. Because also these two women, what I'm also not understanding, it doesn't seem like they like work full time jobs. Maybe they do. We don't see them working, but for the most part, I think they're both financially dependent on this man. Maybe banally like side hustles and they sell stuff on the side. I don't know. But girl, like, how you gonna live if somebody follows up on this claim? Like, family members, guys, families these days, arasaratana, arasaratana, like, the family unit has been so destroyed systematically by everything else that's going on in this hellscape that we're living in. People just need a sniff, a whiff of suspicion for a home to be completely destroyed, and Batuba Supanakaminwana calling each other, Maloi left, right, and center, and now taking each other out and taking revenge for a claim like this. For me, I just feel like the repercussions of something like this are so severe. The implication of something like this is very hectic. Baby girl, even if you're upset that this person is taking a third wife, this is not the way to get your way. It really isn't. Mambata on the other side, she also says nothing. She's agreeing clearly with what Mashazi's saying. Then Mashazi says, hi, as far as she's concerned, she's not going to stand in his way. If this is really what he wants to do, she's going to get out of his way and she's going to leave and he can carry on. And when she leaves, he'll be with Mambata, widow number one, and cousin's wife, widow number two, and he'll be the widow keeper for real. Because, she says that she is confused and she really just doesn't understand why he wants to be the widow keeper. He's like, these things that Mashazi is saying are just confusing him, utitegile, and he doesn't understand. Like me, we are all sititegile, so true, my brother, because I also don't understand. I don't understand. Mera! Anyway, Mashazi then says she's gonna leave it with the two widows, and she's not here for it. I don't know where this leaves them because he said that's never going to happen. She's not going to leave. Then Mashazi reveals that actually she will, because Mashazi reveals that actually before he married Umambata, who we thought was the first wife that he had, Mashazi reveals that this guy actually had a wife, standalone, non-widow, first wife. Okay, he just said Mufasi, so we don't know if she was married or what. But there was a somebody who was standalone and widowed. And then he went and got Umambata after his brother died. And that first woman, she left because she was like, I'm not here either for Istanbul or I'm not here for this widow. So Mambata's like that. I mean, Mashazi's like that first wife left when you went for Mambata. Now you're trying to bring a second widow. Now I'm going to leave. Stay with your widows. Let's see how it works out. I really don't know. But, the thing about making accusations and negotiating in general, and relationships are a lot about negotiation, is that you have to have some sort of leverage. And I'm not sure Umashazi, what leverage does she actually have? Because, hey, guys, it's very sad, and I'm not saying it's fair, but from the way that I see and experience Zulu men on television, in these reality TV shows, and in real life, and a lot of other men in general, I'm generalizing, but like they go do what they want to do, whether you are with it or not. If he really wants to do it, he's going to do it. And he'll find a way either to sweet talk you, or if you're going to be stubborn about it, he go ahead and then he'll do you later. So I don't know if she has leverage to be making these sorts of claims that she's going to leave. But anyway, let's see how it goes. Then Ukulegani MC, he goes to see one of his teachers from the foundation phase, brings her beautiful flowers, and he's here to basically just thank her, for the influence that she had in his life, laying the foundation from primary school all the way through to high school, that she was there. And, she was a really, really great positive influence on his life. And he basically wanted to show her that and thanked her, that while he was going through all of the challenges at school, he told the whole story, guys. It was just poverty. I think it wasn't said explicitly, but I think in the subtext, it was that it was so tough that I think he was probably going to school not having eaten as well. I think food was a struggle. His mother wasn't there in his life. Nobody told him where his mother was. He didn't know where the mom was. So just going through life like this, you know what I mean? Feeling so ungrounded, unsupported financially. He really just came to thank her. And then he even said, at the matric dance for his matric year, he was supposed to give a speech to the learners, but he couldn't even summon up the strength to do that because all he wanted to do was just write his matric and just leave and get out of school and just close this chapter because it was just such a painful time for him. He even gets emotional and he starts crying, while he's talking to her about the ways in which he had to begazela and just persevere, and she's trying to encourage him and she's like, listen, that stuff is in the past, you overcame, you did the things. And then he thanks her, and he says one of the things that really helped him through a lot of tough times, and the one thing he always remembered was that she said she was raising them to be gentlemen, and that gentlemen protect their families, and that gentlemen provide for and care for their families. And, telling her that now, he set up his own family and he's basically holding that with him in his heart. It was beautiful. Just, guys, I wanted to just take Kulegani if I could and just bring his head into my bosom like Iyanla and just hug him while he weeps and just comfort him. Beautiful man doing beautiful healing work. He even said for him, he's doing his healing, and these are the steps that he's taking so that he can be confident, in his journey and in his life. I love this for him. You are a beautiful man inside, my brother. And I am so, if nobody has told you, you should be proud of yourself. Proud of yourself from the background that you've come from and that you persevered and that you held on to the goodness that was planted in you by the people around you, to grow this beautiful garden of family and stability and love for yourself, and now to be on this journey of healing and wholeness and just trying to just heal those wounds. Demonstration for the nation, Zulu men. Doing it! These kings of Maskandi guys, they are doing it. Doing it! Lastly, we have Kulega Shongwe. He goes to Ulundi. He's going to go beat up with his mother and his niece, so his deceased sister's daughter. And basically, niece has been wilding out here in the streets, saying crazy things on social media. And he's come to discuss it with her. Number one, to see like what is the reason for you saying these things that you're saying. And secondly, he's here to he's going to Kuzahe. Because the things that she's saying, he's like, basically, you think you're an adult and that you have the right to be talking to me the way that you're speaking to me, disrespectfully and on social media. So he explains to his mother why he's here and these are the reasons. And the mother's like, yeah, no, she shouldn't be saying those things. They call her. And then, Kulegani explains to her that, like, listen, these were the things that you were saying on Facebook. He claims that she said on Facebook that he's a big, Maskandi star. He makes all this money, but he doesn't take care of his mother. And then she also said that, one day he's going to get what he deserves. And he's like, you said this stuff about me on Facebook. And I think for him, it was also when he was explaining to his mother, he's like, there's people that I work with, and I'm a public figure. So people are reading these things and attributing it to my character, and my reputation. So he's explaining this to the niece, and then she interjects and she's like, Malume, you are here basically to put me in line, Utong Khalema, but why are you doing it during in front of with lights, camera, action? And now everybody in the whole nation is going to see that I said these things, and they're going to see you here reprimanding me during the cameras. She says she wants no part of it, because basically she just doesn't want to be embarrassed in front of the people. This is the thing for me. That's understandable, and I think it's fair, because she's like, he didn't call me, he didn't call Ugogo, his mother, to tell us that he's coming with cameras. That's understandable, and that's fair. I'll give that to her. Where I will then take that grace and credit away is that, babes, if the things that he's claiming are true, and they showed us some of the screenshots from Facebook, you were the one who was slazzering him on a public platform. So I think it's right that he would then want to come and reprimand you on a public platform and resolve it on a public platform, because you put it in the public first. So what? He must just leave it out there for the public to believe these things at the Atlokuza in private. And I think for him, you could tell the way he was really not at this girl's level of disrespect. He was even just like, these days, we can't be beating children because they've got rights. Subtext, I would beat your ass. Okay. if we were not post 1994. Neketlo wants has because who do you think you are? We are not in the same age group. I'm your elder, and you're busy saying these things about me on Facebook in public. So, yes, let me bring you here and put you in line in public. I'm sorry, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to be, if you want to play with the big boys, or the tiki, go to Facebook. No, girl. No, girl. He must put you in line during the people because you were very happy to be going and clicking and posting him on Facebook during the whole of the world. So also him, fair's fair for me. I don't know. And basically he tells her that, if she also needs to speak to him, can she not be tintering him on Facebook, asking him to call her back, like looking for him on the interwebs. He's like, girl, just buzz me and I'll call you back because currently I don't have your phone number. So just buzz me, I'll call you back. Just please keep me and my name off of Facebook. Then his mother, Ugogo, rubber stamps what he said to the niece, and she's like, listen, this person is trying to kuza you. Kuzega, nawe, please. Because he's your elder and he cares for you and he loves you. Let's not have drama all over the internet of South Africa. And that was it for episode 5. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really did. Beautiful. I said a lot at the beginning. I'm not going to say a lot at the end, except for subscribe, like, and share and comment, guys. Please tell me about this comment of like people just accusing people of being murderers on television. Anyway, I'll be back with episode 6. Keep well, spread love and not hate. Love from your Ciao.